Whiskey 9, 7 November, interrogative Alpha Bravo. Negative Alpha Bravo. And this is 7 November Golf. Roger, request you check your Romeo side. I'll go ahead and check my Tango side. 7 November Golf out. November 8-5, and 8-5, 7 November, say again. 7 November, go. I copied a while ago, 1 Charlie transmission that my can use and 8-5, this is 7 November, Charlie. Now 1 Charlie, 7 November, go.
This is 1 Charlie, reference to your lines. You're granted 158 extra 5 stars, 1200 between teams and local. Also request your unit take outbound methods to see if we can try to get Whiskey 9 and 8 for Pond to the playground.
And this is 7 November, Roger, stand by.
Got that.
Got it? Alright. And all units, this is 7 November Golf. My unit Alpha, Echo, X-ray Alpha Alpha in there.
One Charlie, Alpha Bravo.
Hey, I never took a dip. I forgot to take a dip.
Whiskey 9, 7 November, interrogative Alpha Bravo. Whiskey 9, Yankee, 7 November Golf, over. This is Whiskey 9, go. Whiskey 9, 7 November, interrogative Alpha Bravo. Whiskey 9, Yankee, 7 November Golf, over. This is Whiskey 9, go. Whiskey 9, 7 November, interrogative Alpha Bravo. Negative Alpha Bravo. And this is 7 November Golf. Roger, request you check your Romeo side. I'll go ahead and check my Tango side. 7 November Golf out. November 8-5, and 8-5, 7 November, say again. 7 November, go.
All right, what's up? Another VA Disability Live Q&A. You know the deal. Ask me questions, preferably VA questions, and I'll give you an answer. That's about it. No questions. There's no live Q&A. All right, Scott Lara. What's up? Thank you. Thank you for coming to live. Appreciate it. Marcella. Thank you for being a member, which reminds me, if you become a member, be sure to join our Discord for a 24/7 live Q&A. For a 24/7 for essentially a 24/7 live Q&A from a retired VA rater. Join Discord here. Join Discord here. Let me just get the Discord link. Totally should have done this prior to going live like an idiot, but I'm doing it now. I do this all the time. I don't know why I do this. Put that in there. I don't really advertise the Discord that much, but I need to because it's extremely beneficial. If you're a member, all right. If you're a member, join. Even if you're not a member, join the Discord. Members have access to member-only chat, and you can chat with a retired VA rater and ask them 30 billion questions. So please do that. Marcella, thank you. Appreciate you being a member. Steele, how's it going? Clayton C, it's a beautiful name. All right, hope everyone is well. Appreciate you, Clay. I met a dude in Pensacola Airport whose name was Clay. And he came up to me. I was waiting for my bags, and he was like, "Hey, CivDiv, what's up? My name's Clay." Easy to remember his name. I don't know if that's you. If it is, that would be cool. If not, it's still cool. But all right. Hello, CivDiv. Thanks for all your help understanding VA. Your team's the best. Hey, thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate that very much. I'm very picky. No, it wasn't. Okay, my bad. I'm very picky on who we bring on as a claim coach. Okay, what we have now we'll probably keep. Maybe we'll put one more in come December. But our claim coaches they're not just random Joe Schmoes off the block. I can tell you that. All right, they've been a part of the channel for a long time. They've learned, even probably in the last few months, they've learned a lot. I've learned a lot. So, hello, how's it going? Peace, what's up? P3, David Perky. What do I need to know about nutritional deficiency on a DBQ for my exam? Nutritional deficiency. First, I would ask if we're talking like eating disorder, right? Which is a separate. You have PTSD, you have general, then you have eating disorder. I would ask if that's what we're talking about. Or if it's like dietary concerns with something like IBS. Okay, if you're drinking a gallon of coffee every day, you're gonna be going number 2. All right, Marcella, great job putting out awesome content, and congrats on your graduation. Hey, I appreciate that. I finished grad school master's last Thursday. I have a lot of time back. Trying to play catch up with some other stuff. So I've been slacking on this channel. So I need to get back to prioritizing this channel, because this is the home base right here. The CivDiv is the home base. Nothing else exists. You know, I can't even be in ministry without the CivDiv. Okay. So I got to take care of the home base. I got to prioritize that. Simplify. Hey, same to you. How does service retirement pay affect VA disability pay? It's a great question. 2 ways. 1, if you are 40% or below, too bad, so sad. Okay. If you're 50% or above, you get both. You rate both. There's a few more things to it, but that's like the end all be all. Like, that's most important for sure. That picture is really glaring. It's this one. Maybe I can turn it more. There we go. That's better. Okay. Oh, that's me. That'd be me. All right. I had a migraine claim that was denied. They didn't even award a CMP exam. They canceled CMP, never got scheduled. I filed for a submittal claim now, have a strong Nexus diagnosis plus log. Did they say that you didn't attend your CMP exam, or was no CMP exam scheduled? That, with a diagnosis, a statement with a log, that would be weird. Yeah, if they didn't award the CMP exam, that's something's weird there for sure. But supplemental claim would be the right choice there. Is there an additional rating award for chronic fatigue if I'm connected for sleep apnea? They canceled on you, yeah. I find personally, when sleep apnea is involved, when it comes to fatigue, that's a hurdle that you definitely have to cross, right? Because it's your chronic fatigue from not resting well, and therefore it'd be thrown under sleep apnea. Something else, when you look at chronic fatigue syndrome, CFS, it's really a process of elimination. Okay. So the answer is yes, but the It's etiology, Etiology. I always have problems saying that word. Really depends there. It really does, because CFS, like Gulf-4 illness, that too, fibro, IBS. When you're looking at MUCMIs, it's like process of elimination would be a good way to look at it. And sleep apnea is a big factor there. Obviously, if you're not sleeping, you're going to be fatigued, right? I heard VA will be looking over 100%ers in their 20s, 30s, or 40s. Thoughts on this? Who told you that? Okay? Because I can tell you this. We don't accept I heard. All right? If you can link a source or anything except for trust me, bro, then sure, we'll look into it. But it's not true. Like, you're asking a question that's not true. My thoughts on this are you should really be cognizant of who you receive your information from. Question: my SMC for ED was denied after HLR. Says I claimed it for insomnia and I claimed it for my psych meds. So I put the supplemental, just leave it alone. I'm at 100%. I would ask if you're on mental health medication, all right? And if that medication is linked to ED, and if you have ED, and if all those answers are yes, if you really want the SMCK, sure, go for it. I'm going to give you my down, dirty, honest answer. It's 2. I always advocate for veterans to be properly rated, right? We're also talking about $132. You're 100% PNT. Is it worth it? I don't think I would do it personally, because $132 isn't going to bother me. If it bothers you, go for it. Clay is talking about to say you're awesome. You're awesome, John B. Appreciate it. I watch your vids to stay involved in VA news. Thank you for what you do. I appreciate that. Not everyone appreciates the news-related videos. You can tell by the comments there, which is weird because a lot of people will say only do VA disability stuff. But when I do VA disability stuff, the VA disability stuff doesn't. How many times can you talk about mental health? I have 846, 47, almost 850 videos. Like, how many mental health videos do you want? Right? I do those all the time, dude. Can I record my CMP exam? You can do whatever you want. All right. Will your examiner be weirded out with you walking in there? Maybe. These are meta glasses. They can record. All right. Watch this. I'm recording myself doing a live stream through my meta glasses. You can record that way. Okay. It's weird. They may say no, right? A lot of doctors' offices will say like no phones, no phone conversations, no recording, stuff like that. So just food for thought. What's up, Billy? Claim coach here. Also moderator of the channel. I definitely appreciate that. Oh, okay. Got you. Yep. Twix. Hello. We're just starting the day to filing our VA disability claim for my spouse. Okay. Best of luck to you. General advice, and this is going to be heavy. It's going to be a lot to take in. But what every veteran should know is how you're claiming it. So direct, secondary, aggravation, TARA, presumptive, MUCMI. How you're claiming it. The evidence for how you're claiming it. Know your evidence. Submit it. Talk about your evidence at the CMP exam. Call it a day. That's what every single veteran should be able to know. Is that, I would say it's a low bar, but for the average veteran, is that high expectations? The answer is yes. But if you're serious about your VA claims, that's what you got to do. Will we expand to SSDI claims? No. I've always tried to like find a partner, like a firm who does Social Security, especially for like those who are IU. Every time I reach out to someone, they're either weird or they just don't want a partner at all. They want nothing to do with VA disability claims. And some of them are pretty shady. And so I've talked to, over the years, at least like 6 or 7 people, close to 10. And every time it hasn't really came through. So if anyone is watching this who knows any SSDI people who aren't weird, all right, that's key, and who don't suck, send them my way. I'm looking for a SSDI partner, create some content together. I would love to do some TDIU stuff with them. Hello, Clay. What's up, Flynn? If I have knees and back service connected, but never got seen for bilateral plantar fasciitis, but submit a pay statement and buddy statement, can it be service connected with just that? I'm going to assume you mean lay statement. L is close to P on the keyboard there. Maybe you're on your phone. I mean, the technical answer is yes, it can. Okay. When you look at bilateral plantar fasciitis, I would also look at how bad it really is. If it's something that has progressed over time, I would look at your entrance exam. I would look at your exit exam. Oftentimes, this is what's crazy. Oftentimes, veterans fully believe we have no medical evidence and come to find out that they do. Okay. And it's generally speaking, it's from your entrance and exit exam. Okay. The easy ticket, the easy peasy lemon squeezy records are your any HAs, health assessments. So PDHAs, pre-post appointment or annual. Right. But to answer your question, the answer is yes, but very weak. All right. Hey, we have our first member for 5 months. Tyler, thank you. Appreciate that. Oh my goodness. Whoops. I forgot to change the battery. Hold on. What a rookie, dude. Okay. Happens all the time. Don't worry. I'm a rookie. It is what it is. I've been doing that for 30 years now. Okay. Same camera. Haven't gotten a AC battery yet. Anyways. Thank you, Tyler. Much love, team. Your videos, I have learned a lot. Waiting final CMP exam results. Learned about how to be true at exams and what evidence should be used. Evidence is the only way to be service connected. I just saw a video from another creator, not going to name names, that have a ton of, win this with no proof required, that evidence. I saw one creator who said, and I quote, evidence from service isn't required. And it's just like, what are you reading, dude? Like, who's telling you this to where you're confident enough to tell people that? Because it's not the case. Evidence is the only thing that wins claims. That's it. In fact, I would argue those who have failed time and time again submitting VA claims probably don't have evidence because they're a bunch of dummies. Anyways. Thank you, Tyler. I appreciate that. Even if you're not a member, join our Discord. We have a non-member pleb section, as I like to call it. That's a joke. But we do have a member-only access where you talk to a retired VA rater, right? 24/7. Go back and forth. Ask them 30 billion questions. I pay for it. Okay, so hop in there. Ask this man some questions. Okay. It doesn't specify. I'm thinking like IBS or diabetes. Oh, you had a previous question. Where's that at? What do I need to know about? Oh, yeah. Just that stuff, just be honest. Be honest, David. All right. Again, from Tyler, gifted 1 membership to someone, and that went to 6 Dangerous Dawn 6. Hey, you're a member for a month as a result of Tyler's gift. Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate that. 6 Dangerous Dawn 6. Download Discord, link your account. You get a free month of asking all the questions you possibly can. Appreciate that. And Liam, you're going to be, or Leanne, you're going to be next. Hold on. I just got a super chat. We have to address super chats. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Jason E. All right. Getting it started. Started watching your videos last year. Went from 50% to 100%. Hold on. I have something for this. I always forget to use it. I have something for this. Look at that. Yay. Hey, for real, Jason, congrats, dude. I appreciate that. The whole reason I started this YouTube channel was because I was helping my friends. Figured out there are people that charge 6 times the increase and rake in $12,000, $18,000. And I was like, I can do this for free on YouTube. And so that's what YouTube is. All right. So all the complainers out there who complain about really stupid stuff, probably because you're a big old dummy, there's a whole playlist. I'll show you right now. Hold on. Let's go. Let's go over there. You see this playlist right here? Playlist. There's 2 you need to know. Some of these are private, so you're not going to see all of them. You'll see what you need to know. That's most important. All right. And then how is this rated? All these videos on how conditions are rated, 38 CFR, M21, CMP exam. That's it. You don't need 800 something videos. Just straight up with you. You don't need that. Okay. But yeah, that's cool, Jason. Right. Had to advocate for myself a lot. This is your future and you've got to fight for it. Absolutely. It is $1 million deal. Jason from Veterans Info Tap always says that. So it truly is. Okay. Thank you, Jason. Thank you very much. I was denied service connection on 3 claims I have been seen for in service, but had letters from my doctor showing the Nexus. What do you suggest as my next step? Something's missing here. Okay. You have evidence from service. You had letters from your doctors. That just the wording of that seems weird. Something big is missing here. I would look at your favorable findings. And specifically, I would see if your CMP examiner looked at your evidence in service. Let's say I'm going to use a dumb example here. Let's say you scraped your knee and you talked about how your knee hurts. You submitted a knee claim 10 years later. The examiner said, hey, the evidence from service doesn't really correlate with the current diagnosis. That is a tough denial to fight. There's very few claims where I say that would require a Nexus letter. That would be an example where it's like, yeah, you got to get a medical opinion. At that point, you're fighting medical opinions, right? At some point, the VA's raters' hands are tied and they just kind of adjudicate via the result of the CMP exam. So if something's missing there, all right, I would absolutely need to know what that is for sure, without a doubt. Okay. Rodak. Hey, what's up? I appreciate the super chat. I really do. My family appreciates it. My kids appreciate it. Hey, Clay, just got rated 50% for insomnia secondary to tinnitus. Okay, so we're talking about pre-January of 24. All right. I'm curious as to what your back pay was like on that one. Don't share that, by the way. Your live stream helped me out a lot. Keep up the great work. Many thanks. Hey, great. Awesome. Happy for you. Especially, I'm not a big fan of secondaries to tinnitus. The evidence is against a lot of veterans in that case. but I'm glad to see you actually got the insomnia secondary rating there. All right, Twix. Is it true that the VA will not recognize Lyme disease? My husband has had it for a long time and doesn't think the VA will acknowledge it. Someone asked that question not too long ago. Let me hop on the Googles. Let's go to 38 CFR real quick and just see. I know what the Google said. Lyme disease, 6319. Evaluate under the... Oh, let me share this with you right here. Yeah, they rate it. It's right there, 6319. Evaluate under the general rating formula. Rate under the appropriate body system. Rate under the appropriate body system. Any residual disability of infection, which includes but is not limited to all those. Okay. There we go. So, yes. All right. Any idea? I'm sorry. My bad. Crystal C. My bad. Any idea why the VA would request an IC for an HLR that for 70 to 100% for PTSD, even if the box wasn't requested for the conference and we requested to remove it when we called on the status? I don't know how common that is. I think this might be the first time I'm hearing that. I'd be curious to know if you submitted the claim yourself personally, or if you used like a VSO and they clicked informal conference. I don't know of any times where a DRO or a decision review officer would push that. That might be a Kish question to see if he knows of any instance where a decision review officer would request a IC. The VSO submitted it. Yeah. My money's on the VSO hit the IC button. Simple mistake, human error. I don't know that. I'm just, if I was a betting person, that's what I would do. Or that's probably what happened. Can I claim urinator frequency secondary to anxiety? I see my anxiety in my case notes for UF due to no physical cause noted. Working diagnosis is noctura secondary to anxiety. Can you claim it? Yes. I think that's pretty good evidence. Okay. I'm not by any means am I a psychiatrist, but it makes sense that anxiety would cause some whatever, you know what the word I'm saying, to make you use the potty a lot. That's interesting. That's interesting. Good afternoon. They rated me for insomnia and anxiety 50%. They rated both as one mental health. Yep. I'm so glad you said that because I just talked about how many mental health videos I have. It's the same. General rating formula for mental health. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let's go to our gunny Google here. 38 CFR, ECFR, mental health. This will be very quick. You see all these? General anxiety disorder, MDD. I mean, there's a billion of them. General rating formula. That's why this is you. You can have every single one of these. and you'll have 1 rating. Okay. Oh, sorry. We'll come back to you, Danny. Missed a Tim in DC. Thank you very much for the $20 super chat. I appreciate that. My family appreciates that. All right. VA just informed me Friday that I'm now 100% P&T. Hold on. We have something for this. Yes, dude. Congrats. That's awesome. Okay. I still have some Qs submitted. Any danger letting those play out? It depends how far back the Q is going to go, right? I had a friend who did a Q that was worth about $20,000. That's difficult to say, cancel, you know? So there's a monetary factor there. It's whatever you're comfortable with. But I do think people need to realize when a decision review officer is involved. Let me give you an example. Let's say you become 100% P&T. You do an HLR on the effective date, right? That happens a lot, pretty common. Decision review officer gets the effective date, and it's for a left knee claim. During that, the DRO looks at everything, and if they notice something that's not right, they're going to kick it back and could potentially reduce that. Right? So once you're in the DRO's world, you're in it. Right? You are in it. I don't mean to say that to like scare you, but it's definitely something to consider. So what kind of keys are we talking about? Because 20 grand's hard to just be like, I don't want. 50 grand's pretty hard. You know, we're talking about non-tax dollars right now. So, you know, people do Qs going back to like the 80s. That's a lot of money. Just got 70%, but the VA being the VA gave me the wrong effective date. Just talking about that. Yeah. The effective date is, I'm going to say 2 things are true at the same time. Okay. First, whoa. I'll get to that in a second. Whoa. First, the VA commonly gets the effective date wrong. All right. You'll see many HLRs for effective dates, happens a lot. At the same time, veterans who think the VA messed up the effective date also get it wrong. Both of those are true. Okay. I would really look at the effective date. The reason why they chose the effective date that they chose. What's the date of diagnosis? Did a diagnosis change? What does that look like? Is there new evidence that was considered? What's the weight of the new evidence? What is the new evidence to begin with? Like, there's a billion questions I ask there. And if you truly do believe that the effective date is wrong, that's when you do the HLR for the effective date. Okay, we got a big snackaroo. All right, big old snackaroo. $463 Ed. Whoa, dude. Thank you very much. You have my full attention right now. All right. Thank you. Seriously. That's insane. I guess I got to do the money one for this one too. All right. United States Air Force, 72, 75. Started watching you and Jay. Made it to 90. Signed up with evidence-based VA claims. Oh, man. Okay. Now we're talking language, baby. All right. All right. Talked with Kish. Kish is one of our VA claim coaches. He's a retired VA rater. Man, I don't think he's on right now. I'm definitely going to have to shoot this over to him. He'll be really happy to hear this. For my future claims, August 27th, I saw my 100% P&T claim letter. Thanks to you, Jay, Kish, VeteranAI, and American medical experts. Keep it up. I'm still watching. Let me just say this. I didn't pay this guy to say this, okay? But VeteranAI is awesome, right? I partner with VeteranAI. I partner with American Medical Experts. Evidence-Based VA Claims is a company that Jay from Veterans InfoTap and myself created. Kish, he's the glue, dude. Man, congrats on your 100% PNT. I'm so glad that we were able to help you. And it's cool to see someone go from 90 to 100 because that's a big jump, right? Not every 90% is a good at 90. Actually, I'm going to take a picture of this and shoot it. My phone died. Dang it. My phone died. Let me snip it from my computer. I'm going to snip this and shoot it to Kish because he will love to know that he got someone 100%. Boom, save that. Let me hop over to the Discords, and then we'll get back to answering questions here really quick. At Kish. Did it work? Nice. I look like an idiot in that picture, but whatever. Cool. Thank you, 463. I appreciate that, man. All right. Wow. That was not a paid advertisement. Okay. I guess in some ways it was because he did pay. All right. Hello from Welton, Arizona. What's up, dude? All right. How's it going? Man. Got me all going now. All right. Daryl Wallace is 38 CFR 3156B. I don't remember that. Effective for a new effective date if you have new and relevant evidence, and you continually presume your claim, my appeals, and direct docket review. Okay. Well, we're talking BVA, so it's a little different. 3.156 Bravo. Let's go check it out. New evidence Bravo. Oh, let me share my screen. Pending legacy claims. New and material evidence received prior to the expiration of the appeal period or prior to the appellant decision of a timely appeal has been filed. Will be considered as having been filed in connection with the claim which was pending. Yes, that's what it's saying. It's saying yes. Be considered as having been filed in connection. Yes. I do. Anyone who goes to the BVA, Board of Veteran Appeals, that's you're in lawyer territory, just so you know. I hope it's not true. Oh yeah. No, John, whoever said that, and I'm going to use some language here. They are either spreading hate or just really stupid. Okay? Like really stupid. James will come back to you in a second. We have another super chat. Today is a good day. DK Guns. All right. All right. And you're a member. I appreciate that, DK. So my letter says effective date of the last change to your current award is July 1st. But effective date when you became PNT is August 1. So which date? Yeah, okay. So let's start with this. 100% PNT is just it's just your overall rating. Okay? It's your overall rating. So let's say you're 90%. And I'm going to use January 1st of this year. You're 90% even, 90 even percent January 1st. You have a claim in for allergic rhinitis. You get 30%. Boom, that's 93. That goes to January 1st of 2025. Okay. Let's say there was a second claim for second disability. For whatever reason, that effective date was August 1st. And with the second disability, their 93% became 100% PNT. And so now you'll have two different disabilities with two different effective dates because a 93 is still a 90, no change. The effective date of this made-up scenario that I have is August 1st. Therefore, your overall rating changed on August 1st, right? Now, I don't know what the situation is for you specifically, but if I had to put money on it, we're probably talking about multiple claims there with different effective dates that change how your when you were directly awarded 100% P&T and when a claim was awarded with no overall rating change. I hope that makes sense. Okay. Do you know anything about connecting dry eye syndrome to in-service corrective eye surgery? Let me tell you this, okay? Oftentimes people really get sucked into the disability itself, like dry eye syndrome. You can replace that with anything, and you can replace the primary with anything else, okay? What is required for a secondary claim is what we're talking about here, right? Easy. Primary disability. I assume you have an eye connection somewhere, probably 0% unless you're blind. You got to have a current diagnosis of dry eye syndrome, which, by the way, is not going to warrant the rating. That's going to change your life, probably 0%. 3, you got to have the Nexus. So that's what's required. All right. And if we're talking about direct, which I'm going to assume there's an avenue for direct because you had eye surgery in service. Hello. Did that corrective surgery, like if you had LASIK, very common surgery to have in service, is that going to result in dry eye syndrome? I'm not an eye person, but I don't think so. Can it? I mean, sure. The question is, what's your evidence? All right, TJ, how long does a difference of opinion take in an HLR? Yeah, no one on this planet can ever give you an accurate timeline on any claim whatsoever under any circumstance for any reason, whether it's a difference of opinion, an increase, a secondary, an appeal, whatever. No one knows. Anyone who would give you an answer is pulling it from their behind. Okay? So if I gave you an answer pulling from my behind, 3 months. Hey, big dog. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. What's up? Okay. Hi, Clay. I'm at 100%. Congrats to you, Stephanie. For sleep apnea and GERD, it's now on my record. Should I submit for re-eval? 64 years old. Why? Like, why? If you can answer why, then we'll take a look at it. But thanks, Clay. Hey, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for being a member too, Dan. All right. Hey, Clay, I have a claim in for several disabilities. Sleep apnea and tinnitus. That was submitted 6th of this year. I was just diagnosed with fibro. I do have a letter with the intent for the fibro. Okay, we got a long one here. Pseudo-presumptive. The claims are still being reviewed. Should I submit my... No reason to wait. No reason to wait. There's no reason to wait. Okay? If you have the evidence, there's no reason to wait. Now, fibro and sleep apnea, that's going to... That's a factor there. But regardless, don't wait. If you have the evidence, there's no reason to wait. That goes for any claim. Okay, I appreciate all your content and everything you put out. I appreciate all your advice and videos tremendously. Hey, no problem. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, we have another one. Today's a good day. All right. Cam, I'm going to call you Cam. Sorry. Thank you very much, Cam. I appreciate that. Okay. Says, appreciate all your info to help me understand the process. 20 years out, submitted claim went to 90% at 94 points. I'm assuming you mean 94%. Took me 6 months. My migraine headaches were denied. So no complaint in service about headaches. All right. First of all, don't forget about GammaCore. If you have migraines, you have headaches, think about using GammaCore. I genuinely use this every day. Okay. Second, right. So you're 94% headache direct. Okay. Maybe look at secondary. You have the diagnosis. I would want to know what you're connected for. A cervical condition would be pretty solid if you have cervical migraines, headaches. PTSD, anxiety would be pretty solid for headaches, right? Those would be my top two. Yeah, thank you, Cam. Appreciate that. Also, congrats on your 90%. Don't stop till you're properly rated. Remember, it's not if you're not 100%, there's no poking the bear. All right. Poking the bear does not exist if you're not 100. Now, if you're properly rated and that happens to be 20, 40, 50, whatever, then it is what it is. All right, George just uploaded the last med file for claim. Now the wait continues. Yep. Now believe it or not, okay, the VAs, the average date for a claim was like 140 something days. For August, the average claim was like 90, 96, 94. It drastically dropped. Okay, this overtime is paying off. They're really putting it in this fiscal year, this last quarter for sure. And so you might not be waiting that long. All right, what's up, John? My doctor just wrote good Nexus letter for me for secondary to anxiety and insomnia. Do you think it will fly? John, my doctor, wrote a good Nexus letter for my secondary to anxiety. How? There's no way I can answer that. I can say yes, but it doesn't mean anything because I am not looking at the Nexus letter myself. I don't know who John is. I don't even know if your doctor's qualified to even write the opinion in the first place. I have no idea. Okay? None. There's no possible way I can answer that. That's not the answer you wanted. Just want to kind of make that clear. So sorry, dude. My bad. Jason Blacken, Mr. Blacken. All right. I submitted a new claim for sleep apnea and a supplemental claim for other stuff at the same time. Would the rater work these two claims together? It's not necessarily it's just the VA's process as a whole. Yes, probably. Live above average rate. I have a prior 50% rating for my lumbar fusion with radiculopathy. 50% rating on a lumbar is serious. That sucks to hear, honestly. Unless you mean like lumbar with radiculopathy and you're just adding those together. I have recently been diagnosed with DDD in my thoracic spine, degenerative disc with stenosis, and pinched nerves with radiculopathy. I want to know what you mean by 50%, because I assumed it was a single 50% rating for lumbar, which is very serious. All right. I don't think that's the case now that I've read this whole thing. So if you mean 50% combined total, I want to know what your rating is for your spine. That's it. If it's 20%, I'd say look at it. All right. If you have a 40% rating for your spine and you're just adding up the 2 10s and that's 50, I'm generally not a fan, personally, of submitting a claim for the spine when the veteran's rated at 40% for their spine. Not to include radiculopathy, okay? Because 40%, that's a real rating. That's a solid rating. So food for thought. There's other factors at play here you need to think about. Claims changed my effective date. They were missing. Yeah, you would do an H. So you have a completed claim. You disagree with the effective date. So you're going to do an HLR for the effective date. You can do that specifically, and you can do it through va.gov. Appreciate all your info. Help me understand the process. Oh, hey, thank you for the donation, though. I definitely appreciate that. Did my SSDI claim proved? Hey, good for you. Solid. That's an answer to someone else. How to make the doctors of the VA write DBQs, IMOs, or Nexus. Yeah, that's not going to happen. You can't make them do anything. Several of them have told me they can't help. Yep. And that's it. I would love to tell you to contact patient advocacy, but that doesn't do anything, right? We tried that before. Doesn't do anything at all. Every veteran would have to do it for the VA to recognize the issue. Nothing you can do. So that's why we have services like American Medical Experts for everything, right? We have Dr. Sharma for mental health. Felix, no. AME cannot. You have to send your records to AME. They can't. They're not going to have access to federal systems. Lamont Griffin. Hey, Clay, can I submit my headache claim without the headache log? How important is that? There's 2 answers here. Technically, sure, you can submit your claim. You can submit it without anything. What I would do, evidence-based VA claims. We named our whole company based off that. I don't submit a claim without evidence. All right. I'll link a video for you. I'll walk you to where it is, and I'll link it for everyone too. You're going to find it in this playlist. How does the VA rate? I have a specific playlist for Gamma Core because that's where I know it is. There's less videos in this. Which one of these has the letter in it? I think it's this one. Hold on. Let me just make sure this one has the statement in it. Nope, not that one. Boom. There we go. That's what you want. Link this video for you. You'll find that template in there somewhere. Ooh, let me title this real quick. I spelled evidence wrong. My bad. Okay. You can file your claim without anything. Don't recommend that. 2, you can do your due diligence and submit your claim with evidence because that's what we do. At least here at the TheCivDiv, that's what we do. You want to file your claim with the no proof thumbnail? Go right ahead, but don't recommend it. So my answer is yeah. If you can do a log, do a log. Right? Speak about your log to your healthcare provider. That's what I really want you to do. Tyler, hoping for the proper rating results from these exams. Yeah. Hey, me too, man. Evidence is the way. I have no idea. What are you talking about, Felix? All right. I know it has been talked about for those at 100% having the ability for DIC for their spouse. Can you do a video about survivor's pension? Yes, I think I did fairly recently because of Combat Craig's passing. Like, death is not something that I think about. But I did a video. People got really butthurt that I did a death benefit video. Death benefits. There. Check that out. Felix, so the caveat before even speaking with AME, you got to have your FOIAs on hand before even consulting with them. First, they have a free consultation. You can talk to them. You can do it right now and see exactly. You can just get the answer for them. Do you, as a veteran, is there a responsibility on your end to have evidence for your claim so that way someone can make a Nexus letter? Yes. In fact, if someone's writing a Nexus letter for you and they're not looking at your evidence, that's not a Nexus letter. That's a paper. I can do that. That's a piece of paper with some words on it. Okay. ChatGPT can do that. That means nothing. Evidence makes the Nexus. That's why evidence is required for VA claims. All right. Already called the DC hotline, and nothing except my congressman and senator have contacted me about this. Well, I can tell you that when they get involved, you'll see movement. My migraine headache were denied since no complaint about service. Maybe look at secondaries. All right, hi, Clay, an update on my disability. My neurologist sent me in for an MRI of my brain. Okay, results. All right. How will this affect my 70% for PTSD? If you're talking about, I don't know if that would fall under TBI or not. But 70% rating for mental health right now is where you'll see TBI and mental health really be connected. All right, because you'll see here. I'll show you actually. Instead of talking about it, I'll just show you. It's like spatial disorientations on there. Memory loss is roped on the general rating, and so you're really seeing TBI-like symptoms at 70%, right? So this is 70. Go to the semicolon here. You'll see spatial disorientation. And so that's when you really start seeing TBI ratings roped in with mental health at 70%. Not saying you don't see it at 50 and below, but you really start seeing, it's right there. Right. Once you get into brain injury stuff, that's when you start seeing it for real. All right. Yeah. Have you had much success with the vets you've worked with in migraine secondary PTSD? Yes. Right. I'll say the opposite too. When I see denial letters for veterans claiming migraine secondary to tinnitus, I'm always like, I told you so. All right. I know people submit that because that's what YouTube tells them to. But in my experience, in looking at veterans being service-connected migraine secondary, there's two most common. It's not tinnitus. It's cervical conditions. That's number one. And PTSD, anxiety-like for migraine secondary. Can the VA use recent VA records in the HLR review? for an HLR, they can only look at the evidence of the time of the decision. Okay. Once your claim is kicked back for development, it's essentially a supplemental claim at that point, because they're going to either look at new and relevant evidence, get new and relevant evidence. Maybe that's a C&P exam. Maybe it's going to be a TERA exam. Probably not going to be favorable, by the way. But no, you can talk about it, but the DRO will tell you that they can't use it. And once the claim is, you can't submit a supplemental claim on an open HLR. You have to wait till the HLR closes. Okay. But if the HLR is kicked back for whatever reason, then you can submit the new and relevant evidence with that specific claim. Okay. I would also do a statement as well, kind of outlining that. Retired in 2004, denied sleep apnea for no diagnosis, have snoring and service treatment records. Snoring isn't sleep apnea. I'm going to tell you that straight up. Snoring is snoring. VA diagnosed with sleep apnea in 23. Supplemental denied in 24. HLR found duty to assist. VA never scheduled sleep study. New supplemental in part 1. Okay, let's go find part 2. Part 2. New HLR supplemental denial for no diagnosis. Decision letter never mentions DTA. I was going to, so at first I assumed the duty to assist was essentially going to be a TERA exam for sleep apnea. A lot of, especially if you went to Iraq in 2003, I see a lot of early Iraq veterans with sleep apnea connected via TERA. Right, that was my initial assumption. Obviously, that's not the case here. And so snoring isn't sleep apnea. One, snoring is snoring. Sure, it's a symptom. Not everyone who has sleep apnea snores. Not everyone who snores has sleep apnea. Food for thought there, right? Obviously, there's more to your situation than these, and that's something that you would need that personalized touch for. So you might want to email VA claims at ebvaclaims.com. That goes for everyone. You're going to get a templated response. If you like what you hear, go with our service. If not, that's okay. All right, you're in Nova. I'm in Fairfax County. What's up? Oh, that's part 2. Thank you. Yep. Hey, Clay, what's the changes to radiculopathy? So there's levels, 0, 1. I should do a video on this. I said I was, an updated one. Actually, I do have a video. I have a video on this. I will show it to you. I'll link it down below in the comments so everyone can see. This is not happening anytime soon for the neurological systems. Not a chance. Okay. That is, where are we at here? Nerve damage. There's levels, and it has to do with gravity. Okay. So instead of, there's no real concrete rhyme or reason as to why you get the rating you get for radiculopathy, other than that's what the C&P examiner gave you. And so they're changing, it's going to end up in DBQ changes as well, but you'll see like levels and gravity and all that stuff. So there you go. New HLR descending. Oh, I didn't see that part. How far will back pay go? Not the 2004, brother. Not unless you can show a Q. I would totally lawyer up for that because you're talking about a 50% rating going back to 2004. That's big time. Yeah, but not 2004. Right. Totally did not see that part. So let's look at dates here. Potentially 2023, depending on. Oh. I skipped that. I'll come back to that. Maybe 2023, depending on the timeline of your appeals. Okay, sorry, BM. 1979 denial where I explicitly requested STRs twice, got an attorney, had the VA do nothing. Next was a knowledge. I got 100% 20. Oh, hey, congrats. I hate seeing MST, obviously. But I think that's something, I think we can celebrate that you're properly rated. Okay. That's something that we can celebrate. Sorry for skipping that one. I didn't see it at first. All right. Thanks for everything. Hey, thank you. There's no questions. There's no live stream. Okay. I haven't had a live stream where we haven't had questions before, but I really do get anxious that I'm going to have a live stream one day and no one's going to ask questions. Okay. I don't know the context of what you're asking this for, but any claim, anything can be secondary to anything else if you have the evidence. Okay. The question isn't, is migraines good to go secondary to depression or insomnia secondary to depression? The question is your migraines, not mine, not Lance Corporal Smuckatelli's, okay? Not Joe Snuffy, is your migraine evidence linked to your depression? You can use that for any claim ever, all right? Do you have the evidence? It's a very clear yes or no. If the answer is no, then go get the evidence. If you try to get the evidence and the outcome is, oh man, my migraines are related to me never ever drinking water. Guess what? You're not going to get that connected via secondary, right? Drink some dang water. It's not a VA disability claim. However, if migraine secondary to anxiety and PTSD is really fairly common. But however, if you have evidence for migraines being secondary to depression, anxiety, PTSD, cervical spine condition, right? That's probably more common, easier as well. Then go for it, right? Kish just logged on here, right? I showed him the screenshot. I want to show him the comment in real time, right? Says, started watching you and Jay, made it to 90, signed up with evidence-based VA claims. That's our claim company. All right. You can email. Hold on. I got something here. You can email us down below. It says, talked with Kish, one of our claim coaches, also retired VA rater. Says, August 27th, I saw my 100% P&T claim letter. That's awesome, dude. What's crazy is we started this May 5th. And so that timeline was very fast. All right. It says, thanks to you, Jay, Kish, VeteranAI, and AME. Just kind of hitting all of the partnerships right there. This is not a paid advertisement, by the way. Appreciate that, man. And we're glad that you got rated for sure. And I lost my spot. Hold on. I don't want to skip anyone. We were right here. Only for white men. Okay. Anyways, hello. Why is there more emphasis on 160 disability than? Yeah, so 160, because that's the easy is not the right word to use. Okay. But those who have a single rating at 100%, you could imagine if they're that bad off, they're probably going to have other higher ratings, which is why you see the, I don't want to say easy is not the right word, but I think you understand what I'm saying, right? More common. versus like a housebound, where you're proving your service-connected disabilities rate housebound. Okay, I wish they would separate those completely, but the VA just kind of ropes it into one. Yeah, and Kish says factual housebound is more rare than 160. Yeah, and I think that's when you think about someone who has a single rating at 100%. It's more. Dude, don't get butthurt at this, but it's probably more serious than your average veteran who's rated. Okay. VSO submitted it. Oh yeah, we talked about that one. Thank you for being a member, Tyler. If heart disease, cardiovascular system is the most complicated for me personally. Okay. If heart disease and hypertension were submitted at the same time, hypertension granted, heart disease denied, Agent Orange Taylor, would HLR assist in getting... I don't think HLR is the correct option there. I think a supplemental claim would be more appropriate. I think so. I wouldn't do an HLR. If I were you, I would do a supplemental. Okay. Lynn says, hey, Clay, I have potential sleep apnea claim with allergy sinus evidence diagnosis starting in O2 and recent CT scans showing structural sinus. What are the changes with obesity? Yeah. So the obesity diagnosis, that's not the issue, right? The issue would be, is your weight gain attributed to your military service, either directly or secondary, okay? If that's the case, and when I say that, intermediate would be the proper term. When I say that is, if it is fairly easy, okay? If it's not, the complete opposite, not easy whatsoever, and that's going to be the biggest hurdle. Fighting a sleep apnea claim. If a veteran is overweight, their weight gain is not attributed to service, they have no direct in-service events for sleep apnea, that is a very difficult secondary claim. I have seen a single veteran, I used to work with him, who was obese, who got that connected via secondary, whose obesity wasn't an intermediate step, okay? But that's not common at all. So it depends if your obesity is connected to service or not. All right, that's all I got for today. What I'm going to do is just run through member comments real quick. If you're a member, I like to always answer member questions. So let me just make sure. And 463 Ed is a member. I didn't catch that. So thank you a lot. Billy, member, moderator, claim coach, just everything. Screenshot. Yep. Whenever I took the picture. That's whenever I was sending the picture to Kish. Let's make sure we get all the members answered because members are better than everyone else. That's a joke. Okay. But seriously, if you're not a member, join the Discord. You'll see it in the pinned comment. If you are a member and you're not on Discord, join it, link your account, you get member access. I have to do better about pushing the benefits of membership. Along for the ride. I was granted sleep apnea at 0, even though I'm prescribed the MAD listed under the M21. I would look at higher level review there. All right. I would also look at your apnea episodes. but it is obstructive, so that tells me enough. And my answer right now is HLR. Yeah, absolutely HLR. Do you see Kitch's comments? That was likely a new rater. So if I'm you, I'm doing HLR. I would do it right now, right this second. Through va.gov, easy. That's an easy one. Member comments. Howdy, Clay. We'll watch the replay. Hey, thank you. Appreciate it. Going to CMP records archived. Can examiner approve if I have a handful of records? Can examiner see archived records? Okay, so examiners view what the VA tells them to view. It's much more than that, but bottom line, that's what it is, right? The examiner doesn't have federal access and all this stuff. They view what the VA tells them to view. So there's some claims processing mistakes that can be made in there, right? Just, you should understand that, all right? If you bring records to an exam, the examiner isn't supposed to view the records and take them into account. However, many examiners do, many examiners don't. I had a CMP examiner on a while ago who remained anonymous for reasons, who shared this with us and shared what happens when a veteran brings evidence that they're not supposed to look at. He said personally that he would look at it, but they're not supposed to. He also asked me to delete that live stream. So I'm sorry I can't link that video for you. He said a little bit too much there. He really did. Great insight, though, from a CMP examiner perspective, not a VA perspective. But yeah, Kitch said the only exception is the VHA examiners can see all your VA treatment records without being given permission. Yeah. The odds of the exam being VHA quite low, I would say. I think it's 90% of CMP exams are contracted out. I mean, that stat was a while ago, if I remember correctly. All right. Palos Rivera. Thank you for being a member. What's the difference between sleep disturbances and other sleep ratings? That's a fair question. I think you see sleep disturbances in the presumptive list here. I'm going to pull that up, actually. I think that's what you're referring to. Why does this happen? Let me go to my history. Hold on. Can you see my history? Okay. I'm going to share my history with y'all. It'll be weird. Why do they try to bury this thing? I don't get it. Okay. Presumptive list. Scrolling down. Right here. Right. So you're looking at Gulf 4 post 9/11. We're looking at MUCMI, specifically sleep disturbances. So think of like anything from respiratory, okay, upper, lower respiratory sleep disturbances. If you're waking up because you can't breathe, sleep apnea. Sleep disturbance, also mental health, night terrors, things like that. But I assume that's where you're pulling it from, okay? All right. Yeah, and then Kish gave some insight. Says go to VSO to see how Rater coded it. Look at your diagnostic code and see what that looks like. All right, any more? Here we go. So wouldn't that be duty to assist if I have been denied due to them apparently not having those records? Not necessarily. Okay. I have a billion questions to get to the bottom of this. The answer is not necessarily. Okay. Now, did the VA take into account previous records? What does that look like? Are they even relevant to the claim? That's question number one. Yeah, there's a billion questions, okay? But the answer is not necessarily. Maybe not. But an HLR you can have an informal conference would be the best thing. And lastly, KISS says, don't say sleep disturbances. The VSR can get confused. Yeah. All right, that's all I got. Hey, whoa, we have a new member at the last minute. Danny and Holt, thank you very much. I like your Vegeta. I like that. Yeah. If it's all your VA records, I can tell you all of them aren't relevant to the specific claim. Okay. But what I'll do, Sherry, is if you have a disagreement with that and you do think it's a duty to assist there on that denial, HLR is the easy answer. More specifics will determine if it's going to be a submittal claim or not. Okay. Anyways, Danny, thank you very much. That's all I got. And yeah. Peace. That was a good stream. Appreciate it.